As worship and praise service welcomes visitors to its new location on Long Island, Push Pause takes a closer look at the Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn as they continue their outreach, fellowship, and spiritual connection in the community.
How many of you are witness? Telling you God's gone.
The rhythmic feel-good sound sets the tone for church, a long-standing tradition in the Black church. Singing, praying, and preaching are viewed as three pillars to religious faith.
What they're looking for is not static institutionalism, but they're looking for a dynamic worship experience. That has to be reflected in the music, in the environment.
Father, we worship you. Oh God, we adore.
The environment was created by CCC and its founder, Senior Pastor Reverend A.R. Bernard.
What says a lot about a church is its longevity and the longevity of the people who are committed to it.
That longevity has stood the test of time. Prior to converting to Christianity in 1975, Bernard was part of the American Black Muslim movement during the Civil Rights era. While growing up without a father, it was a time that he describes as searching for his true identity.
The most appealing was the Black Power movement. And for me, what was most attractive is how it contextualized in the Nation of Islam. The religious journey of the Black church included the Nation of Islam as an alternative to the perceived weakness and silence of the Black church, except those that were somewhat involved in the civil rights movement.
As Christians, Bernard and his wife Karen held Bible studies in their apartment in Brooklyn. Through word of mouth, their ministry began to grow. A storefront in Greenpoint served as a new place of worship. As word spread about his dynamic ministry through the African American and Latino communities, a larger building was needed, and the Christian Life Center, an abandoned supermarket, was converted into a sanctuary.
Of course, that small beginning in the storefront has now grown into what we understand as Christian Cultural Center. The name changed over time because we became very clear with our identity, and we understood Christianity as more than a religion and didn't want it relegated to religion. We understood it as a culture, a set of values and beliefs and traditions and customs. And we have a total membership on the books of over 37,000 members. And we have an internet campus as well. And of course, my influence travels around the globe, from doing work and missions work in South Africa in the 90s, in Zimbabwe in the 90s, in Nigeria, and then from 98 to the present, spending the last 16 years in Asia.
But thank God that when you ask our leaders how long they've been here, they can tell you 18, 20 years, 15 years, and some are building up beyond that. It says a lot about our family.
With a solid foundation to remain as a religious presence in the Black community, CCC is doing its best to get the word of spirituality back into the Black home.
We've come a long way from 1965, when the Black family was profiled as a social problem, a pathology of illegitimate births, with men with low self-esteem and matriarchal women as the center of the Black family unit. But now with this new millennial generation that is having a shift of values and a change in relationship with the church, it requires the church and the family to think differently in terms of how they're going to bring spirituality.
What Christian Cultural Center does is remind the people that Christianity is not a religion, but a relationship, a lifestyle, a culture, a calling of a people together to celebrate this great good news that God was in Christ reconciling the world to himself.
The church and the family has to be a little bit more creative in reaching this particular generation. They think differently. They have a different set of values, and if they share the same values, which some do, it's in a different order than what we have known. The church to us has been an institution that we conform to. However, with this new generation, it's about how does the church conform to my lifestyle and my set of values and my goals. And that's challenging for the church, and it's challenging to the family, but not impossible. It takes creativity, it takes determination and persistence.
The growth of Christian Cultural Center, led by Pastor A.R. Bernard, has played a big role in redefining what it means to be spiritual in the Black home. That conversation is led by a new generation of young Black ministers.
Come on, worship, talk to God.
When Push Pause returns, a growing spiritual ministry connects on Long Island.